Turn on that notifications bell so you don't miss a thing.
Welcome to Open Source News. I am your brother and your host, BCP. I hope you're having an excellent weekend so far. I'm going to ask you up front, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And it sounds like, why do they always say that? Just get to the news, BCP. Well, we want to have the widest reach. And that's not happening right now. Once again, we are on their naughty list. But when you hit that like button, what it does is it forces the algorithm to at least share this with other people that are likely to have watched other videos looking for truth. And it helps us at least get more views and help more citizens here in the United States and worldwide to be informed to what's really going on. And if you like what we're doing and you're just trolling, go ahead and just hit that subscribe button and join our family and hit the notification bell as well. What we're going to do here, folks, is we're preparing another video, actually a couple videos for you. This one is going to catch you up on everything that's been going on, not everything, but several things that have been going on the last couple of days that we've covered, including some revelatory things that are very important for you to know about national security, China, Eric Swalwell, and AG Bill Barr. So let's just get into it right now. First of all, let me give you an update on the Pentagon postponing, canning, blocking out, delaying transition meetings with the Biden camp until after the holidays. Now, it's being reported, and I actually put that statement up in my last video for you to read, that Acting Defense Secretary Chris Miller had issued a statement noting that the postponement was mutually agreed upon. So if you missed the news, the Pentagon blindsided, it was being reported that they blindsided the Biden transition team and said, hey, we're not doing the defense briefings for the transition team that were planned. And then they came out with this statement from Acting Defense Secretary Chris Miller, said that that the postponement was mutually agreed upon. Quote, our key focus in the next 2 weeks is supporting essential requests for information on OWS and the virus information to guarantee a flawless transition. This is my major focus area. After the mutually agreed upon holiday pause, which begins tomorrow, we will continue the transition and reschedule the meeting from today. Again, I remain committed to a full and transparent transmission. This is what our nation expects, and the DoD will deliver as it always has. Now, a senior defense official pushed back on the initial reporting that this was blindsiding the Biden campaign. He called this senior official called this BS, and he said this to Breitbart News. He said, we rescheduled 1 day of interviews before the holiday break to get Warp Speed and other parties right before people leave for the holidays. That's what the official said. Well, that's not what's being reported in the Communist News Network, the DNC mouthpiece known as CNN. And I'm going to read this to you because I think there's some validity here. There are some people in the Biden transition team who, as we would say, are butthurt. There was no mutually agreed upon holiday break, and this is according to Johan Abraham, executive director of the Biden transition. This is what he told CNN. In fact, we think it's important that briefings and other engagements continue during this period as there's no time to spare. And I have to agree that I would not think that the transition team of Joe Biden would willingly take a break.
A few months ago, I was promoted to a managerial role. When it happened, I was ready for the challenge. But I quickly discovered leading a team and getting work done through others requires a different skill set. That's when I turned to the American Management Association. AMA's online management training program.
I think this was the Trump administration helping the Biden team save face by not having it out there that, hey, we don't trust the Biden team. We got things in the works and we're not giving them briefings. They come out and say, no, this is mutually agreed upon to help the Biden camp save face, but they're not going with it. A Department of Defense spokesman said that the Pentagon was working to reschedule approximately 20 interviews with 40 officials until after January 1st. So the rest of the year, they're being iced out. This is what's happening here. The Trump folks are saying it's mutually agreed upon. We're working on warp speed. We're working on rolling out the vaxes and all that kind of stuff. And the Biden team are saying that's not true. This isn't fair. We should be having these meetings. This is not really what's going on. We want these meetings. And this is coming from the executive director of the Biden transition team. So why are they being iced out? Perhaps because of what's going on in China and Eric Swalwell and Nancy Pelosi and the Democrats being in bed with China. We'll get into that a little bit here in a little bit. Here's some interesting news. It's good news, but incomplete news. And that's the Supreme Court has blocked a leftist bid to stop Trump's plan to exclude illegal immigrants from the census and therefore redistricting. Why is that word giving me such a hard time on this weekend day? The Supreme Court dismissed a challenge Friday to block the Trump administration's effort to exclude illegal immigrants from the U.S. Census count and from being counted toward congressional redistricting. The conservative majority on the High Court ruled that it would be premature to block the president's plan before such a time as it was implemented. So they were trying to preemptively stop Trump from doing this, the leftist groups and interests. And the court said, hey, look, it's too early to do this. We're not going to stop Trump from doing it. He hasn't even implemented it yet. That's all that it means. But it's a step in the right direction, though an inconclusive and an incomplete one. The conservative majority on the High Court ruled that it was premature. We expressed no view on the merits of the constitutional and related statutory claims presented. We only say that it's not suitable for adjudication at this time, wrote the court of the case Trump versus New York. At present, the case is riddled with contingencies and speculations that impede judicial review. The three liberal justices dissented publicly, saying that the High Court should rule now that President Trump does not have the authority to exclude illegal immigrants from the congressional redistricting process. And of course, the weak conservative majority just said it's too early to do this and wouldn't take this on. It would be great if they did it conclusively. Now, I want to follow up on two things that would have been shocking, groundbreaking news a year ago. And I'm not going to say today that we don't care about it, but it's like a penny short, a dollar late, or whatever the saying is. And this is that there is new text messages that showed that Peter Strzok and others knew that the information in their first FISA was false. And here's why. I'm going to go through this in the next story in just moments, because you're going to be upset because you know all this was the truth. We all knew this was going to come out eventually, and it came out just in time for not a damn thing to happen anyway. AG Bill Barr really, pardon le français, pardon my French, really screwed us over. Biding the time, just running out the clock, leaving, and kicking us on his way out the door, which I'll get to in a little bit here. But this new text message shows that their informer, Halper, turns out gave information that Carter Page didn't know the Russian plant that he supposedly knew that led to the first FISA warrant. 4 days before securing a FISA warrant targeting the Trump campaign, the FBI was alerted that Trump advisor Carter Page had denied to an undercover informer ever knowing or meeting a key senior Russian official, as agents were about to allege to a court, according to a text message made public Thursday by state investigators. The text message was sent on October 17th, 2016, so this is a few weeks before the 2016 general election.
Need to send money internationally? Download the Western Union app. Available 24/7.
From an FBI employee whose name was redacted to then Deputy Assistant Director Peter Strzok, who was leading the Crossfire Hurricane probe. And the email message says, text message says, hey, Carter Page denies knowing these people. He doesn't know anything about these people. He's never spoken to them. If he has, it was, in passing. It was a quick conversation. There's nothing here. But when Peter Strzok and the rest got their FISA warrant, they put in the FISA warrant that They wanted to investigate Carter Page because of his contact with this person, even though we have here in this text message that Peter Strzok knew that that was a lie. So much for FISA bringing down the House, right? Nothing's happened over FISA so far. These treasonous, traitorous rat bastards, this whole bunch of Clinton and Obama deep state people are still out there, free, fancy free, out there living it up, living free, even though they committed crimes of sedition in the least, and at the most, crimes of treason against our country and our duly elected president and our civil liberties. Nothing will happen. How about this groundbreaking, crazy thing that even 1 year ago may have made a difference? And that is that the star impeachment witness, which of course is the former U.S. ambassador to Ukraine, Marie Yovanovitch, she lied. She was aware of Burisma corruption. Now, we all know that Burisma is corrupt, but she acted like that wasn't the case. Turns out that one of the Democrats' star witnesses in their sham impeachment of President Trump seemed to have been shading the truth. Are we at all surprised? So, Breitbart received 210 pages of records from the State Department showing that Yovanovitch had specifically warned in 2017 about corruption allegations against Burisma Holdings. However, during her November 2019 testimony in the impeachment proceedings, Yovanovitch told lawmakers that she knew very little about Burisma. So what it turns out is that the McCain Institute, remember the McCain Institute? They wanted to have a leadership development training for Ukrainian prosecutors, and involved in this was a former ambassador to Estonia and Serbia. And the McCain Institute was going to put on this development training, and it was going to be funded and sponsored by Burisma. And in an email to Yovanovitch, she actually said, "Hey, you know what? This is not a good idea." And why? This is the email. Excuse me. This is an email. This was a communication. Sorry not to have responded to you more quickly. This is Yovanovitch to the person. I will get back to you with a full response, but I would urge caution in dealing with Burisma Group. It is widely believed that the owner was a beneficiary of the corrupt justice system here, and I think to an extent that anyone is aware that Burisma is funding the training, there would be raised eyebrows in Kiev over the irony of Burisma training prosecutors, and to what end. So Yovanovitch, who said we knew nothing about Burisma being corrupt, this is President Trump looking into Biden for no reason and trying to impeach the president over it, had in October 4th, 2017, warned someone at the McCain Institute or people organizing something with the McCain Institute to be sponsored by Burisma not to do it because Burisma is corrupt, and everyone would raise an eyebrow and think this is kind of funny to have Burisma sponsoring a leadership development. So there you go. A year too late. That news would have been really good November of last year. Even if it had come out now, the weekend of December 18th and 19th of last year, it still would have been bombshell because that was during the hearings before it went over to the Senate, or, about around the Christmas time. It would have had an impact. A year later, it comes out, and who cares? The news cycle has moved. We have bigger fish to fry right now. And that's what they do. They run out the clock. Peter Strzok knew, here's dead to right communication, text messages to Peter Strzok that he lied on the FISA. Might be one of the most damning things yet. Nothing's going to happen. Nothing did happen. Nothing is going to happen. And these bastards are going to get away with it again and again. BCP, I want your positivity and your hope. Yes, we are going to win on January 20th before then. That's the big win. Then all these things might get cleaned up. But let's keep it real.
If a video production company tells you that they don't need a script to shoot your video, you should hang up the phone. The script is the full.
In the meantime, there's going to be no consequence. I want you to be aware, because there's going to be a time when, unfortunately, hopefully it won't be this generation, it won't be this go around, but there's going to be a time where we're going to have to take care of this ourselves. Not now, not this month. Yes, we need to scream bloody murder to the FBI and the DOJ, etc. But nothing is going to happen in the meantime, in the immediate future. This is FYI only to let you know that we were right all along. They were lying all along. They're caught, and it is what it is right now. And also to demonstrate to you the importance of fighting the big battle right now, and that is to make the legitimate winner of November 3rd, our duly elected and beloved President Donald John Trump, do everything that we can as citizens, etc., to support the true winner of the 2020 election, and celebrate together on January 20th when Donald Trump is being inaugurated for the second time to start his second term. Now let's get into Swalwell. Both House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy and Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi received a briefing Friday from the Federal Bureau of Investigation on Eric Swalwell and his association with an alleged Chinese spy. McCarthy, after this FBI briefing, said that one of the big questions that he had was fundamentally answered. And what was that big question that he had? Well, here we go. While speaking to reporters after receiving an FBI briefing on Friday, House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy stated that the briefing made it clear that Representative Eric Swalwell should not be on the House Intelligence Committee. This is what McCarthy said, quote, I don't talk about what goes on inside there, but it only raised more questions. The one thing that was fundamentally answered, he should not be on Intel. The one thing I know for sure, I had questions about whether he should, and that's the question that was answered. He should not be on Intel. So in other words, Kevin McCarthy is saying, as going into this meeting, I just wanted one question answered. Should Eric Swalwell be on the Intel committee or not? And supposedly that is the answer that he received. Now, the report on the Eric Swalwell that has been billed as an FBI briefing, actually, according to Chad Program over at Fox News, and what McCarthy said was that DNI Ratcliffe actually is the one who delivered the briefing. And Ratcliffe has been very, very clear lately, as has Mike Pompeo, about the threat that is China and their influence and their infiltration into American politics and American politicians. And the intelligence panel Republicans are clearly saying that Swalwell was compromised by his ties to Christine Fong. Now, of course, Swalwell won't say whether his relationship with the spy included physical intimacy or disclosed much about their shared past. As Real Clear Politics put it, the normally chatty congressman won't say much of anything. He was jogging on Thursday. I don't know if you saw, he was jogging on Thursday to his house in D.C., and he just kind of kept his head down and wouldn't answer questions, and he hustled up the steps and just stonewalled and cold-shouldered the press. He won't answer the question. But here is here's the big thing. And this is from Sean Davis over at the Federalist on Friday. A source on Capitol Hill confirmed to the Federalist today that Representative Eric Swalwell had a sexual relationship with communist Chinese spy Fang Fang. The FBI finally briefed congressional leaders today on the details of Fang Fang's interaction with lawmakers on behalf of communist China. So the Federalist is reporting from their Capitol Hill source that Eric Swalwell did in fact have a relationship of a sexual nature with the Chinese spy. Go ahead and put in all your jokes about, I mean, come on, her name is, this is a PG and PG rated show, but come on, her name, Fang Fang, is only inviting a whole bunch of sophomoric, immature, but admittedly probably very funny jokes of a more crude and vulgar nature, given the fact that it is now being reported by the Federalist, what we all suspected and knew and put together, that Eric Swalwell was got bitten by Fang. It's got fangs in him, and I'm not going to go there, but it is what it is.
With Facebook Shops, your customers can easily browse and buy on Facebook and Instagram.
I want it to stop.
Yes. Now, talking about what's going on with China, interestingly enough, on Friday, a lot of news with China on Friday. Slipped under the radar, of course. Most of this is not being reported, if at all, by the mainstream media. And that is why you come here and you are with us here at Open Source News. By the way, if you are enjoying this, please hit the subscribe button and like this video. It really helps us out. Now, this is what happened with China today. One of their big chip manufacturers and 60 other entities were put on the ever-expansive U.S. blacklist. The U.S. Commerce Department announced an addition of over 60 more Chinese entities to export blacklist Friday, including Semiconductor Manufacturing International Corp., China's largest producer of computer chips. I hope you're not surprised when you find out where these SMIC chips were, and you shouldn't be surprised to find out, I'm sure, in the near future that some of these chips may have been found in, let's just say, some machines that have been compromised. Now, the reason officially for this, and it is accurate, and I'm sure there's other reasons as well, stems from China's military-civil fusion doctrine, which means that anything that is produced in the private sector that can be of benefit to the Chinese military, because China, just in case you didn't know, is a communist country, that stuff gets automatically transferred, that technology automatically gets transferred to the military complex, industrial complex of China, and these chips, this chip company is not allowed to have access to the technology we have, which pretty much, if you know about semiconductors, supposedly this is going to block China from being able to produce semiconductors smaller than 10 nanometers, which of course is the new standard, or starting to be the new standard. So interesting stuff. Now let us conclude with AG Bill Barr stuff. AG Bill Barr sat down with Kim Strassel over at the Wall Street Journal this week. This was after his announcement that he'll be resigning office before Christmas, and he's going to kick us with one hell of a whopper on his way out the door. He says that there was no CIA misconduct with the Trump Russia. Do you believe that? No CIA misconduct. Out the door, protecting the swamp that he is a part of. Oh, BCP, trust the plot, trust the plan, trust the whole 40 chess that's going on. Come on, folks. Let's grow up. Let's be mature. I'm not invalidating the validity of certain supposed MI leakers on the chance. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about this misplaced confidence in someone and a plan that is supposed to cure everything but has created more problems. Are we supposed to trust AG Bill Barr after he hid the Hunter stuff, which put us in this situation? Now, I do agree that we had to be in this situation, as much as it's painful, so the masses can see how China has controlled our politicians, how Joe Biden is controlled by China, and how the Democrats and these systems have been stealing our elections for years. I don't think this would have been cured, a permanent cure, had this not been exposed fully. So I'm on board with the fact that this probably had to happen, whether it was meant to happen or whether it just happened because it happened. I think eyes have been opened and people are more willing to fight for their vote, the sovereignty of America, and the sanctity of our free and fair elections, voter ID, all that stuff, because the curtain's been pulled back and we see China and Dumb Onion and all these other people moving the levers behind the curtain. We see that's not all a yellow brick road. So, and that would not have been possible without this massive attempt at fraud by the deep state. But to think that AG Barr is a good guy when he has assisted over and over again, or at least if you believe he's a good guy, he was highly ineffective, not as effective as he could have been. These people should be in jail. And out the door, he's saying that the CIA was not part of any misconduct with Russia. The CIA did not act improperly regarding alleged ties between President Donald Trump's campaign and Russia, outgoing Attorney General Bill Barr said. In an interview with Wall Street Journal, posted Friday, Barr said he had doubts early on about the agency's conduct. He suspected the CIA was spying on the Trump campaign before the origin of the FBI's Crossfire Hurricane investigation into alleged dealings with Russia. However, Barr said he concluded the CIA stayed in its lane before appointing U.S. Attorney John Durham as special counsel in October to investigate the Crossfire Hurricane probe. Barr said he did not see any signs of improper CIA activity or foreign government activity before July 2016. Now, is this semantics? Because it could have been Brennan masterminding this along with other people, and it wasn't official the CIA. It was rogue elements within the CIA. But he's saying very clearly, no CIA misconduct with Trump Russia, and that is false. That's a lie. And he didn't say anything about the FBI because we know we got the FBI dead to rights. But AG Bill Barr, on his way out the door, kicks patriots, kicks dirt in their eyes, and says, yeah, I said that I want to look into the CIA. I'm very concerned. But on my way out, Trump, I'm dropping the mic. There's no CIA misconduct. You and everyone who believes you and everyone who knows the truth is once again, this is fodder for the left, for the Democrats, for the Marxist machine, the Mockingbird Muppets to say, look, AG Bill Barr said there's no CIA, nothing to see here, move along.
Have we met before?
I don't think so.
You are a liar.
I thought we were playing a game.
Why would I do that?
I gotta play this smarter.
I'm not done with you. Stay and play.
Big Town Rated R, now playing in theaters.
And remember, I just reported to you that, in fact, we are moving along, unfortunately, because we have bigger fish to fry right now. But Carter Page, FISA warrants, all a lie. We now know that. We have the communication from Peter Strzok's email, and we have Yovanovitch communication with McCain Institute and others saying, don't trust Burisma, they're corrupt. Well, in the impeachment just a year ago, she was saying the opposite. And guess what? These lying, diabolic, and I use that word not ironically, and not figuratively, but literally, these diabolic from El Diablo types will continue committing these crimes against America because there are no consequences until we see people receiving prison time and worse, and seeing the full weight of a traitor's reward wrought upon them. They will continue to do what they do, and that's what the deep state does. They commit these crimes against us, and when they're caught, they all cover for each other long enough so that when the truth comes out, it doesn't even matter. And now I'm not saying this to discourage you folks. What I'm telling you right now, the battle that matters is the battle between now and January 20th. Once that battle is won, we can revisit all this and make sure that the proper consequences and the proper justice is met. Thanks for being here on this interim report. Got one or two more episodes for you this weekend, folks. Working on stuff already, but I want to do this one in this format to get you caught up. Thanks, AG Bill Barr, for nothing. If you like this video, once again, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. Until the next episode, goodbye.